Good morning, friends. Steve here on the hillside and with Bastet. Want to say hi, Bastet? Hi. Bastet the cat, and we've also got Brittany, who's on the porch, and I think Jules as well. So we have a whole catastrophe going on here. Um, there's the tail of the Bastet. It's kind of a cute thing. It's a little white tip. Makes a question mark secretly. I don't know. Maybe they all want to go back downstairs and have more crunchies in the laundry room. I can see that this hoodie thing is making my cheeks look fat, but maybe my cheeks are fat. Who knows? All right. So, once again, as has been true for, I think, coming up on a month now, no, no coffee has been consumed. Once again. So you might ask, why do I seem caffeinated? And probably because it's the first day of the new year. And I can tell there may be some cat torture occurring during this video. So I'm going to see how well I can do with making a video when my cat is attempting to, maybe she'll just lie down. Well, I should stop talking about her. I'll have to be quiet for a minute, see if she's going to actually lie down, which is unusual. And she hasn't had any caffeine either. She's just naturally, I don't want to use the word destructive, but she'll sometimes, let's just say she'll do almost anything to get attention, especially when I have my attention on my computer, which she just doesn't approve of. Something about EMFs or something, EMFs and it affects your eyes, and there's all sorts of subliminal messages and all that stuff going on. And I would say, you're probably wondering, why you might be wondering, probably aren't wondering, but if you were wondering about why I'm wearing a hoodie today, it's because it's just, I'm not complaining, but it's not been very warm in the Pacific Northwest. So it's like cold mornings, and then it gets warm by the afternoon when the sun's directly overhead. It can actually be kind of hot to sit in the sun. But the rest of the time, it's kind of chilly. And I think this hoodie isn't quite enough I am in the shade just because I've been liking this new viewpoint for the videos. And so, in case I have to go put the cat downstairs, this whole random rant introduction to the video will probably not ever show up. I'll probably just start all over again and just start simply like this. So we can just start simply like this. Hi, this is Steve. I'm sitting on the hillside thinking about life and things like that. And today is the first day of the year, according to the Mayan calendar. And it's, I think it's a blue rhythmic storm is the kin day, blue rhythmic storm, which means it's going to be a blue rhythmic storm all year with its power doubled. So I'm just taking it one day at a time. That's what they say, that's what they say. In the recovery process, which we're all in the recovery process. I don't know if it's getting some weird reflections, so I'm just kind of messing with it a little bit. And we'll just see if we can't just get some of that blue water view. Well, it's kind of shiny over the water. Um, yeah, they say. Oh, I was saying that they said something, but I can't remember what they say. Therefore, what is today about? So today is about the incredible changes that are going on the planet right now. And one of the ways I recognize change is the speed and quantity of changes people are making in the healing sessions. I think I wrote or spoke about it a couple sessions in a row where people just cleared an incredible amount of energetics. And, you know, I've been doing energy works for 50 years, and I've gotten better at it, you know, over time. And I've gotten better over time as well. Not just better at working with people in their healing process, but better of improving my own healing in the process of assisting others. I mean, I do a lot of healing work with myself, and this past 11 months has been the most healing work I've ever done with myself. The detoxing, just stimulating the detoxing, realizing there's lots of stuff in my system that would be better out of my system. I mean, we get stuff in the air, we get, you know, for periods of time, some people, me included, up until 4 years ago, drank alcohol, not very often to what I would have felt and described as excess. I mean, you know, anybody who drinks alcohol probably has drinking to excess. I mean, the day of the moon landing, I drank, I was, I don't know, 19, and I drank a half a gallon of some California cheap red wine. I can't remember the name of it, but it's like Gallo. I think it was Gallo. And it was the day of the moon landing, and you know, it didn't stay down. That's all I can say. And there's been numerous times where I've just felt like I've exceeded my limit of alcohol consumption, and then regretted having done that. But 4.5 years ago, I just made the decision that if I wanted my brain to function better than it was functioning, that it would be a good idea to just cease and desist the use of alcohol, which I did. And we, you know, that alcohol is a toxin, you know, from my perception, and it's really hard on the liver. And so, anyway, I've been spending the past 11 months or more, a little over a year probably, just cleaning out my system so that my brain works, so that my field is clearer, so that I'm not as emotionally triggered by what's going on in the world and the things that people are saying, that people around me are saying. I had one of the few physical sessions that I do. I had a physical healing session today where I actually assisted someone to release a whole bunch of energy when I had my hands on helping to move that energy. And there's a person I've worked with for a long time. And again, the last 3 sessions or so have been, I've seen more change than ever before. So what I think is happening is that I've talked about, I'll see if I can make this look correct. I've talked about the ascension process and how the energy just keeps going up, keeps going up, keeps going up. And if you're familiar at all with flying a kite, when you get the kite, I'm using kite instead of frisbees because people relate better possibly to kites, but when you get the wind coming at the kite and you're holding a string, it keeps the kite going up against the resistance to the string. So if you have a kite that you can control, like with double strings, you can turn it and have it do different things, rather than just holding it in the air. You can turn it. And I don't know this for sure, but I'm pretty sure that people actually have kite fights. They get them up in the air and they slam into each other and they do all sorts of stuff. And yeah, people just come up with anything to do to distract them from the world they're living in. Because here we are. It has never, for me, because I've been paying attention and things that just have never made sense to me, and I've been like, this is just not right. And just for one instance, the Democratic National Convention in Chicago. I'm pretty sure it was the Democratic National Convention in Chicago in the 70s, where the police came out and just started beating the hippies. It's like, this is America. And the police are just out beating the hippie protesters. And, I'm thinking it was probably about 1969 when I was attending protests against the Vietnam War, where I think it was 4 students who weren't even involved in the protest. There was a protest against the war going on, but there were 4 students that were shot that were just walking back from classes. And I think there was 4 killed. I don't know how many were shot at Kent State in Ohio. This helped me to realize, which was probably the point of it, that the powers that be are just thugs. That was my perception. They were just thugs. And if I wanted to have any kind of an effect on the world, I was going to need to stay alive, and the best way to stay alive was not to be noticed. And so hence the get up. Hence the correct. I mean, there was a period of time where I was wearing pretty colorful pants, but anyway, just to not be noticed, so I could just get by and do my work. And it was interesting because when I went to chiropractic college from 1997 to 1980, it was about 3.5 years or so that I was in Iowa. And I was immediately interested in the controversial chiropractic processes, such as applied kinesiology. Turned out applied kinesiology was very controversial within the chiropractic community because there was just this group called the straight chiropractors that felt like the detection and release of chiropractic subluxations by hand was all that should be done. And so people who came up with instruments and stuff to release these subluxations, they were like, no, it's by hand. It's in the rules. You do this by hand, not with an instrument, not with a little tapping thing, tap, 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 tap. And then also, no nutritional advice. I mean, we're a healthcare community. We don't give nutritional advice. We leave that up to commercials. Frosted Flakes, whatever. But anyway, so anybody who's doing nutritional advice, anybody who's doing any organ work where you're actually going in and releasing organs, which both applied kinesiology and sacro-occipital technique both did, they actually help to do some physical work on people to help their organs regain function. So they gave them foods that helped their organs regain function. They did energy work. They did acupuncture meridians. They did lymphatic drainage points. They did neural points. A lot of stuff, just to see if we could help people come out of being unwell to being well. And then the more kind of far out, that was a term from the 70s, in case there's young people watching this video, dog forbid, serious, dog star. In case there's young people, far out, I went further and further out in terms of the work that I was doing, to the point where I was working with Atlantean healing devices that gave off certain positive vibrations that actually shifted what was held in the organs, and the client would release it, and then their bodies would regain health. And I did that for about 7 years. It was really powerful stuff, but it wasn't stuff that would have fit fit within the model of the controllers. Now, the controllers were the people who had risen into some sort of power within the chiropractic community where they felt like they could control what the chiropractors are doing. Not unlike the AMA or the boards of physicians that try to restrict physicians from doing anything that produces health and well-being with their patients. And they've done a good job at it. If you're not a drug dealer, you're not a good doctor. You're not playing by the rules. The rules are just, that was a big yawn for the cat. Rules are, sell them drugs. Our education is provided for us by the drug companies. They actually fund the medical schools. They actually fund the hospitals. They actually fund just about everything medical so that they can orient the physicians to be drug salesmen or dealers, depending on what you want to say. There are some that aren't, but it's a very small group, and they're very busy, and it's hard to get in to see them because there's so few of them, and there's so many people that actually want health care, and there's so few physicians actually providing that. I'm no diss on naturopaths. Some of you are doing a really great job. All right, so today is the first day of the year. It's a blue rhythmic storm day, which my stepson is. He's a blue rhythmic storm, and he's definitely a blue storm. And so this year is a blue rhythmic storm year as well. And so we'll just see how this year goes. There's already lots of change seemingly taking place in the world. That's Brinny right there. She'd like to be the star of the show, but we'll just see. There she goes. Yeah, you can talk to the people if you want. They can hear you, so you can tell them whatever you think, whatever you're thinking. You're just getting out of the camera. All right. So, yeah, not a lot. The thing that I'm aware of is just how much energy there is. Oh, I was talking about, the work I did, hands-on work with that client who it just seemed like there was mass chunks of energy just flying off. I mean, it's so fun and exciting for an energy hands-on sometimes, mostly hands-off. Mostly I do my energy work over the phone, but once in a while I'll do a little bit of hands-on work with a particular person. And it's so fun when I'm doing hands-on work with a person and they make energetic changes that are massive. I mean, and not just one. They do one, another. This releases. I'll tell you, it's exciting. Maybe that's why I'm so kind of seemingly hyper this morning, because it's been such an exciting few days. Even though the last 11 months I've not felt well because of the detox I've been doing, and if you've ever detoxed, you don't feel well. You don't feel like you have any energy, like especially when you have a lot of toxins in your system, you feel like you got the flu, all of it. I don't want to go into detail. I recommend it, but I don't want to go into detail. It might discourage you from just cleaning up your act and just cleaning up your physical body and get ready for this new world we're moving into. And the transition from the old world to the new world was only a 28-year transition, and we've been through 27 years and 4 months of it. So there's only 8 months left to go of this cleansing. We did the physical, mental, emotional. Now we're doing the spiritual. But when you're doing the spiritual, you're doing all of them. Physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual. the spiritual affects all levels. So we did one level, the physical, then we did another level, the mental, then we did another level, the emotional, then we did another level, the spiritual. But the spiritual affects all three of the preceding levels, physical, mental, emotional. So right now, if you're feeling like, wow, wacko, what the heck, what was that? Why am I breaking out of things all over my body? Whatever, you can just know that the spiritual cleanse, from my perspective, is the most intense process I can ever remember going through. Now, that's kind of like a little scary, but oh well, they're trying to make you be scared anyway, so you may as well just get in there and be scared and then let it go. Get scared, let it go. Get scared, let it go. Feel grief, let it go. Feel anger, let it go. Just keep letting it go. And it lets your power rise. And it lets your feeling of a desire to be a sovereign being on the planet just expand. To think how you choose to think. And to think as part of a larger organism called humanity. And not be programmed how you think, but observe the world and come up with your own conclusions for what's going on and what is best for you. And if you do what is best for you, not in a self-centered way of just accumulating resources you just don't need and they're just being taken away from others, not in that kind of thinking, not self-absorbed, but self-centered, where your thinking is about what is best for you and therefore what is best for others, and it's all one big you. It's all one big organism, separated by space and individuation, but we're all part of the same large consciousness, unless we're programmed to think that we're not, and we're programmed to think that we are just a tiny speck in a cosmos of greedy grabbers. And lots of greedy grabbers. Lots of people just figured out how they can get more and more and more and more and more. And if it's true, and I don't know it's true, I don't really know if any of these things are true that I've heard, but I have heard that 8 families own half the resources of the world. And I don't doubt that that may be true. And I don't know what's going to happen. But as our consciousness expands, and as our consciousness comes out of this thought form, this limited thought form of who we are, and we come out of that and we begin to connect with the overall consciousness, the consciousness of one, we begin to think outside the box. We begin to think with more clarity and maybe even more vision. And with that clarity and vision, we begin to act as if all life matters. That any damage to one is damage to us. Because we're all us. We're all individuations of that large consciousness. And so you can get back to that simple thought that religions are based on, but don't seem to carry it into their lives, which is do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Simple. If you've got that as your behavioral MO, modus operandi, do unto others as you'd have them do unto you, then you can just walk through the world feeling like, okay, this works. And if everybody's living that way, then this will work. And that may be the consciousness we're moving into. Not a religious consciousness, because all you need is that golden rule, and then you don't need religion. Really. Unless it's a good social thing for you and you feel good about yourself by, going to church and letting go of your sins or whatever, or just, be part of a community of people who are trying to do, decent things in the world. That's all fine. But in terms of rules, I think there's only one that you might want to choose to have. Do unto others as you'd have them do unto you. live a life of compassion and community and empathy. I'm developing more empathy all the time. Okay, I think that's enough. So, Happy New Year. This is the first day of the new year in the Mayan calendar, so Happy New Year. And we'll just see how this all goes. And I think now I'll probably go sit in the sun and maybe watch this video and see if really I should post this or not. So that's it for now, and now I must go.